I'm just waiting for some people to get in here. Good morning, good morning. Oops, I'm gonna have to mute my mic. I got YouTube playing. Okay, I can't tell if anybody's watching right now. Let me pull up my chat. I see some people. Good morning, Doctor. Good morning, Nash. How are you all? I've actually been up all night, so I took a nap last night, only wanting to sleep for a couple hours, and my husband thought it would be sweet to let me sleep for 5 hours. So I'm like, oh no, I'm going to be up all night. So when you have a husband that works third, you tend to get on his schedule, and it's kind of hard, especially during the summertime when the kids are out of school. So I usually can get by with, 3 to 4 hours of sleep tops, and I'm good to go. So as long as I get a nap in before the kids get home, I'll be okay. We got some stuff planned this morning. What's up, Tim? Yeah, 4-hour nap. Yeah, I hear you. So I don't know if I told you all this. There was a roofing nail in my tire, right? And so I go, and the dealership wanted to basically, they wanted me to buy a new tire for $200 because they said that the nail was too close to the sidewall, and that their regulations and stuff, they couldn't, since it was so close, they couldn't put a new or a plug in it, basically. So there's this little tire shop in my town that I always get my tires from. And sure enough, they were able to put a plug in it for me and charge me $20. And the plug they guarantee the life of the tire for the plug, right? For some reason, it's almost like I knew something was going to happen, because 2 times after I had this plug put in, I asked my husband, I was like, did you drive my car to work by chance? And he's like, no. I was like, I just wanted to double check on that plug. And 2 separate times I asked him. So I get in the car yesterday. First time I take it back. Second time I drove it since the plug was put in. And this was like last week sometime. Yeah, I don't get out often. But anyways, so I'm driving, and as soon as I get in it, it says low tire pressure. Like the number said 23 versus the regular 40 that the tire pressure's at, right? And so I'm just wondering what they're going to do, if they're just going to put a new plug in it, or just, ask me to buy another tire. I don't know. I would say that the hole is probably too close to the sidewall, like the dealership said. But I really don't think the tire place even would have plugged it if they thought it wouldn't last. So I'm just going to take it by there and have them look at it and just see what they say. So more than likely, I'll end up having to buy a used tire, which, I've bought used tires there before, $50. So whatever. Okay, so let's get started in on this case. Some very interesting details has come out yesterday about the Kelsey Berreth murder. I guess you would call it a trial. It hasn't really started. Her fiance, Update-Frazee, however you pronounce his name, was actually charged with murder without them finding the body. This happened in Colorado. The murder supposedly happened on Thanksgiving Day, 2018. Just to kind of bring you up to speed with it, they have a 1-year-old daughter together, and it looks to be like he wanted to end the relationship, and they were actually in a custody battle between him and her with the 1-year-old child. Come to find out, he had been seeing another woman supposedly since 2016 out of Idaho, which her name is, we'll just call her Crystal Lee Kinney. And so Crystal is a nurse out of Idaho, and she admitted to taking Kelsey's cell phone to Idaho with her. And 2 days later, after the murder occurred, she has actually came out and said that she helped clean up the murder scene. Now, what she is saying is that she actually, instead of calling the police like a good Samaritan should do, she actually left blood traces on purpose and ended up basically tattletelling on him. Have a good day, baby. Love you. And she feared her life, is what she's saying. She was in fear of her life, is why she spoke up. But she waited until after he was arrested. I'm sorry. And supposedly, and this is what she's saying, supposedly he asked her on 3 separate occasions to actually murder her for him. She backed out all 3 times. So, needless to say, Mr. Frazee decided to put matter into his own hands, and details have come to say that he used a baseball bat to basically kill her. So, I'm going to play some footage for you all. And the affidavit has actually been released. And so I will also leave the link to that as well. I might even show some of it. I haven't looked it up. It's a PDF file, so I haven't really looked at it myself. I have saved it. Pretty sad case. Anytime there's children, it makes it even more sad, don't you think? In Colorado, just don't drink the water in Colorado, right? So let me get this pulled up here. Make sure I'm presenting to everyone. All right. I was just going to do a regular upload, but for some reason, my microphone is not working, my recording thing. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go live with this, guys. And I had the whole article almost read. I didn't mess up one time. I was like, yay, Kay, you're getting better at this. Thanks. Thanks for that, hon. Appreciate it. Blast them, Sister Smalls. Appreciate that donation, hon. Okay, so let me pull up this video here. And this is 9 News. I don't know if they'll let me actually play the video since they do have ads on their stuff here. Let me refresh it. All right.
A 12-page document detailing why authorities arrested Kelsey Berreth's fiancé for her murder is mostly from the point of view of an Idaho nurse.
Without Crystal Lee Kenny, they
come on, sir.
Don't have a case against Patrick Frazee.
Woodland Park police say Crystal was in a romantic relationship with Patrick Frazee.
Yeah, you would do this to me. It played perfect a minute ago. Let me just let it buffer for a second. Sorry, guys. I had it already open in a new window, so I didn't have to worry about this, but that didn't.
Relationship with Patrick Frazee. And a couple months before Kelsey was killed, Crystal tells them Frazee tries to get her to kill his fiancé 3 times. According to the affidavit, she even goes as far as buying a coffee and giving it to Kelsey, but never poisons it. On November 22nd, she says Patrick killed his fiancé with a baseball bat. So when Crystal told authorities she gets a call from Patrick and he says she has a mess to clean up, 9 News psychology.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. Did you all catch that? They didn't state it. They showed it, though. Supposedly this happened.
And he says Patrick killed his fiancé.
The living room. Okay, however, in the document that I'm going to read to you, there is a lot of blood that they actually found in the bathroom. I found that very, very odd. The stories, coming from her perspective, a lot of her stories and her timeline does not add up. So just keep that in mind. Living room, okay?
With a baseball bat. So when Crystal told authorities she gets a call from Patrick and he says she has a mess to clean up, 9 News psychology expert Dr. Max Wachtel says it's likely she was being manipulated.
It's a very common social psychology technique. You ask for something big, you're going to get a no. The person then feels guilty. So the next thing that you ask for, if it's smaller than that first big ask, the individual jumps at it and says, well, I can do that because it's not as big as this other thing.
Crystal tells police she goes to Kelsey's home 2 days after the murder, finds a horrific scene, and spends hours cleaning up. In that same day, authorities say she admitted to being with Frazee when he burned the body.
The evidence taken as a whole gives Frazee's defense lawyers only one option to seek acquittal, and that's to blame it all on the nurse.
And 9 News legal expert Scott Robinson says the prosecution could use the death penalty as a bargaining chip. The next step will be Patrick Frazee's arraignment on April 8th.
They will not use the death penalty in Colorado. We all know that there's only been one person put on death row in Colorado since 1996. That person is still living to this day. They won't do it. And Mr. Frazee knew that. Same thing with Chris Watts' case. Even his mom. To be honest, this is just my opinion. I think that his mom, Chris Watts' mom, knew about it. Because when she had that interview, she said that Chris called me and said, Mom, they're searching the house. And if you watch her actions, she puts her Kleenex up to her face as if she's trying to hide something. Pay attention. If you can read people and know what actions and stuff mean. She actually covered her face right there as she said that. And she's like, well, no, it's okay. It's okay. Why would he say it to her in that tone? Hey, Mom, they're searching the house. You don't just call up your mom if she has no idea what's going on at that time and say, hey, Mom, they're searching the house. I'm just saying it seemed like she had knowledge of what was going on. Okay, so a Colorado mom was killed with a baseball bat. Officer testifies. This is a pretty interesting article. I'm not going to play the video just from where it's at. Let's see. The fiance of missing Colorado mother Kelsey Berreth killed her by wrapping a sweater around her head and bashing her with a baseball bat, and later burned her body in a water trough, according to testimony at a preliminary hearing in Cripple Creek, west of Colorado Springs. Now, from what I've gathered, this water trough, he has a farm with a bunch of acreage. He had donkeys. And this type of water trough was the large metal that held, I believe, 100 gallons of water. He supposedly put her in a Tupperware tote, a black one, a plastic tote, inside of that water trough and then lit it on fire. On Tuesday, nearly 3 months after Berreth went missing, prosecutors filed new charges against Patrick Frazee, including tampering with a body and counts related to a crime of violence. He was arrested in December on murder charges and is being held without bond. Colorado Bureau of Investigations agent Greg Slater, can't talk this morning, then testified about his interview with Idaho nurse Crystal Lee Kinney, who told investigators she had an intimate relationship with the defendant in early 2018 and provided details of the Thanksgiving Day killing, including that the weapon was a baseball bat. Kinney pleaded guilty to evidence tampering on February 8th. Now, from what I've gathered, she actually, once all this is said and done, she will only face up to 3 years for pleading guilty to evidence tampering. Now, I do believe they can charge her once they come out with more evidence. They could probably charge her, and it'll probably go into a debate on trying to find out who did what, because they're actually questioning who did it. Since he asked her on three separate occasions to kill her, Then once he did it, he called her up and said, hey, you got a mess to clean up. So I think his defense will probably try to turn it around on her. And then what she'll do, more than likely, this is just my opinion, in her plea deal, she will probably try to take a lesser, yeah, I helped, because if she helped clean up, that's basically just as guilty. And she also helped him dispose of the body. They were in the same vehicle with the tote in the vehicle. I'm sorry, but she's just as guilty in my eyes. And I think that the state will actually look at her in that same eye as well. All right, where was I? Okay, so Berreth was only 29. She vanished on Thanksgiving, November 22nd, 2018, near Woodland Park, a city between Denver and Colorado Springs. And they have yet to find her body. Now, they say that they put her body in the tote, took it back to his property, and then burned the body on his land, which they have excavated his property. And from what I've gathered, they did find pieces of black plastic on that property. You can still be charged with murder without a body. And I've been talking about that Crystal Rogers case that's actually a county away from me. I actually helped search for that poor woman. Her body has yet to be found since 2015. I talked to the private investigator it's actually a family member. I talk to him pretty often. And the whole case is just very, very sad. Crystal Rogers. If you all have not looked it up, please look it up. In 2016, her dad was taking her son deer hunting, and they first called it a hunting death or a hunting investigation death. But check this out. The sun had not come up yet. He was actually shot with a deer rifle right in center mass. If you're deer hunting, he was like over 6 foot tall. Think about this. If you're deer hunting, it would have been lower on his body to begin with. And then they actually found on a tree, straight from where he was shot, the drawback from the gun. Fresh drawback on the bark. So they're pretty sure it's murder investigation. He was getting close to finding out where her body was located, and they got rid of him before he could actually search. And I'm telling you what, that man was the sweetest man. I will never forget his hugs. He gave the best hugs ever. Both of them, Sherry and Tommy, are amazing people. I can't fathom what her mother is going through. Sherry is Crystal Rogers, the one that's missing, actually has 5 children. Her mom has 4 of them. So, I mean, she's already raised her kids, and now she's raising Crystal's kids. Yes, CNN, Bobby Lupo, stop. It's just a very good article that I found, and I found other articles relating to this case. So just let me read it, okay? You all know how I feel about CNN. I'm just reading the key points on this case. All right. The couple has 1-year-old daughter, Kaylee, who is now in the custody of Berreth's parents, and they have been given temporary custody. A judge scheduled an April 4th hearing to determine the next step in Kaylee's custody case. Frazee tried to enlist Kenny to dispose of the body in Idaho, but she refused, according to Slater. Instead, he removed the body to a farm in Fremont County, where it was kept for a time in a black tote bag in a stack of hay. So in a stack of hay, I thought he just laid it on top, but he actually placed it, look, in a stack of hay while he went to Thanksgiving dinner. Okay, I'm just going to lay this here body on inside some hay, and then I'm going to go eat my Thanksgiving dinner. Frazee later moved the body to a water trough and added gas and wood before setting it ablaze, Slater said, adding that Frazee scooped up the singed remains and disposed of them either at a dump or in a river. Okay, I hadn't heard that part. So he burned the remains, he burned the body, and then took the remaining remains and disposed of them either at a dump or in a river. They'll never find her ashes. Oh, there was a tooth actually found at the scene as well, at her apartment, at Kelsey Berreth's apartment where they found the blood. They found a missing tooth as well. So I think a tooth is just as good as having a body at this point. Frazee wanted to help with killing, testimony says. Okay, I haven't heard this part. This actually makes no sense. Frazee wanted help with the killing. Okay, so yeah. So basically what I said before is he actually asked Crystal to kill Kelsey on 3 separate occasions, and she refused. She backed out. Kinney told investigators Frazee had asked her to help kill Berreth on 3 occasions, but that she couldn't bring herself to do it. I'm sorry, but if that were me and if you actually really feared for your life, the first time he asked you to do that, I would have been calling police. You could have saved a life there, and a child would still have her mother. Just saying. I mean, she belongs in prison just like he does. And she's not in prison. She's still free. Who knows? She might be listening to this right now. Frazee told Kinney he feared for the safety of his daughter because he said that Berreth was abusive and used drugs. Okay. The first attempt in September 2018 was supposed to involve poisoned coffee. 2 other attempts the next month involved a pipe and a bat. On November 22nd, Frazee called Kinney, the nurse, to say he needed her help cleaning up a mess in Colorado. So you've got this nurse that's dating this psychopath that lives in Idaho. He lives in Colorado. So you call her up while she's in Idaho and says, you need to drive down here to another state, help me clean up a mess. Supposedly, she feared for her life. She was scared of Frazee. She still didn't call police. She didn't let them in on anything until he was arrested. None of this makes any sense. I'm sorry. The next day, she drove overnight to Colorado, bringing with her latex gloves, a white cleaning suit, booties, bleach, 2 trash bags, and a hairnet, according to the agent's testimony. She picked up a key at Frazee's home and opened the door at Berreth's townhouse to what she described as, quote, a horrific scene. She spent hours cleaning, discarding blood-stained toys and other items. You don't know how hard it is to have Thanksgiving dinner after killing her, she recalled Frazee telling her. Yeah, I'm sure. In early December, investigators examining Berreth's bathroom found... Okay, so check this out. This is where I said, remember the living room, okay? Investigators examining Berreth's bathroom found blood in the toilet, the bathtub exterior, the bottom of a trash can, the walls, floor, a towel rack, the vanity, and an electrical outlet. Slater, who assisted with the investigation into Berreth's disappearance, testified the blood matched a DNA profile created with samples taken from the Berreth family. Berreth's brother Clinton had alerted investigators on December 4th to blood in her bathroom and evidence of attempts to clean it, Slater testified. Agents discovered the evidence in the bathroom 2 days later. Now, the nurse admits, she's like, yes, I left blood splatter there on purpose so that you all could connect it back to Frazee. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Slater also testified that Berreth's mother, Cheryl Lee Ellen Berreth, told him she spoke with her daughter on the morning of November 22nd. Berreth told Slater that her daughter said she had seen Frazee the night before and had gotten medicine for his stomach ailment before returning to her home. Does that sound like somebody that is not happy or that doesn't want to be with somebody? I mean, and this could have been part of his plan too, but she actually went out and got him stomach medicine. I'm sorry, if I was in a custody battle with my fiance, ex-fiance, I would not be going and getting him stomach ailment medicine. I mean, maybe I would because I'm a nice person, but if they were actually in a custody battle, I don't know what I would do. Berreth told her mother that she had planned to have Thanksgiving dinner with Frazee that night. So she had even actually planned on going to Thanksgiving dinner with him. The first witness Tuesday was Frazee's mother, Sheila, who invoked her Fifth Amendment rights. Her attorney said that she was refusing to testify and not cooperating with the investigation. Another witness, Patrol Commander Chris Adams of Woodland Park Police, played a recording of a November phone call with police in which Frazee said Berreth had called him to end their relationship. See, none of this adds up. He told police she was not suicidal and that he returned personal items to her, including a handgun. He said he was going to give her space. But yet she went and got him medicine and planned on having Thanksgiving dinner with him. Okay. Cell phone records produced at the hearing showed calls between Frazee and Berreth, which could have been manipulated, by the way, because there were text messages that were manipulated from Berreth's phone after she went missing that the nurse, Kenny, actually said that she did. The nurse actually texted her mom, her boss, to let her know she wouldn't be at work, and then Frazee to make it look like she was, I guess, in Idaho, where Berreth's mom lives. Cell phone towers indicated both phones appeared to be near her home or in the same location. So that's when the nurse and him were together after the killing. There were also calls between Frazee and Kenny, who police say disposed of Berreth's phone. And she did admit to having Berreth's cell phone to borrow time so that he would have time to dispose of the body. Records tracked Kenny's phone to near Berreth's apartment, and surveillance video showed Kenny and Frazee together at a gas station near his home as he filled a 5-gallon gas can on November 24th. So that would have been the day right there. Okay, so it happened November 22nd. But November 24th, he was filling a gas can. So what did they do? Leave her body in her apartment for 2 days before they disposed of it? None of this is making any sense. None of this is making any sense. The timeline is jacked. The mystery behind Berreth's disappearance. Berreth's parents, Cheryl Lee and Daryl Lynn Berreth, believe a custody dispute was likely the motive. So her parents have filed a wrongful death lawsuit. Good morning, Fizzy Pop. Upon information and belief, Frazee had motive to kill Kelsey in that he wanted full custody of their daughter. He wanted Kelsey Berreth or Kelsey to leave Kaylee Berreth with him, and then Kelsey would not agree. According to a family member, Berreth met Frazee online 2 years ago when Berreth lived in Warden, Washington. Within months, Berreth moved to Colorado to be with him, who has a business shoeing horses in Teller County. Frazee told police that he last saw his fiancée November 22nd when he picked up their daughter, making him the last known person to report seeing her alive. Berreth's employer, okay, so this is when the nurse, Kenny, had her cell phone. Crystal Kenny, the nurse, his mistress or friend. Berreth's employer got a text from her phone on November 25th saying she wouldn't be able to work at all that week. Frazee said that she had sent him a text that day as well, but the contents of that text have not been released. That same day, Berreth's phone was tracked to a location near Gooding, Idaho, where Nurse Kenny lives, according to Woodland Park police chief. And Berreth's parents grew concerned after she didn't respond. I'm not going to read the rest of this because basically I'm just going to be repeating myself. So let's go down here. Frazee faces 2 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of solicitation to commit murder in first degree, in addition to the charges added on Tuesday. Prosecutors filed 2 murder charges because they have different theories. One is that he acted alone to kill Berreth. The other is that he, either alone or with other people, killed her during a robbery. And can you all still see my screen? All right, I've got the chat pulled up. Could you all even see that the whole time? I think I had a different article pulled up. Oops. Gotta love Google. Okay, let me look at the chat here real quick. Hold on just a second. All right. See, I see Fizzy Pop, Chask, Roast Thistle. I'm just going to scroll up if you all have any questions. Let's see. I am going to go ahead and put a link in the description for the affidavit that was released yesterday. It's a PDF file, so make sure you have Adobe or Internet Explorer will actually bring it up for you. Let's see. Yeah, Floyd, I know, right? Yes, he killed her with a baseball bat. They cannot add any more charges to the nurse. Are you sure about that, Casey? Okay, it would be, no, it's double jeopardy when you're charged for the same crime. I don't think so. I think if they find more evidence, they can actually add charges to her. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but so far she's only been charged with one thing. And from what I heard, the defense is going to actually, once he goes to trial, the defense is going to try to prove whether he or she did it or if they were actually together, collaborating together on her murder. She was pretty. He was deer hunting, not deer hunting. That was totally different. Stephen Kennedy is a totally different case. He was getting ready to go deer hunting. Tommy Ballard. Yes, Bardstown, Kentucky, where you've got 3 or 4 other unsolved murders. Let's see. She was a pilot. Yes, there is no way she could have been using drugs and worked there where she worked. I completely agree. She won't get her sentence until after the trials. I say trials because they decide to put charges on his mom. Yeah, and his mom pleaded the 5th. From what I heard, his mom actually, and this is just hearsay. I heard that his mom was actually standing on the porch watching the body burn. And from where they excavated, it was right there in front of the house. There is no way she took drugs as a pilot. Yep. Hey, Floyd, much love. Exactly. No body has been found. Okay, I'm just scrolling through here. Hey, Doc. How are you? Nash. Well, I hope you had a good breakfast, Doc. Oh, well, you've been up all night. Excuse me, so it's probably not breakfast. Have you been up all night too, Fizzy? Yeah, they can add more charges. It's not likely because they made the deal for lesser charge. Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be in her plea deal to not get charged any further. Not with murder, I don't think. She's looking at 3 years right now with the charges that she has. They do need her help to prove it. You are correct. And they're going to use that to their advantage. I've been looking into that, Rose. You know, as far as my look on things, I always speculate to check to look for false flag events, government operations. Honestly, I don't think it is with this one, though. I can't see where that would fit. This boils down to a custody case. Now, if she was pregnant, possibly. Just saying. Oh, well, at least you got some sleep, Fizzy. Okay, so I'm caught up on chat. Oh, wow. They're huge. I'm looking at water buffalo. Or cows. 1/3 water buffalo, but they're cows, and they're really, really big. Is that here? Illinois. Wow. So we've got some cows in Illinois that are 1/3 water buffalo, and they're really, really big and fat. They do have funny ears. It's wide. Y'all need to look them up. What are they called? Do they have an actual name? Just look up 1.3 water buffalo, Illinois. And they have these suckers in a small pen, not a very large pen at all. You can't tell how big it is. I just wanted to point it out, though. I mean, they've got them in such a small pen. Wow. Here, I'm gonna do something real quick. I got it. I gotta show you all what I'm talking about because it's pretty neat. No, it has nothing to do with this case, but still. No, I got it. Yes, I do. Stop it. I do.
That's not it. That is not it.
2 seconds. Okay, just go to Facebook and type in 1.3 Water Buffalo, Illinois, and you might be able to find that post because it's actually a Facebook post. I thought it was an article. Sorry, guys. Does anybody have any questions about anything I've went over this morning? And then I've I'm going to put the description to the affidavit in the description box for you guys. I haven't looked over the documents, or I would try to go ahead and present them. But for some reason, when I do a screen share, it doesn't want to share Internet Explorer while I'm using Chrome, or else I would have done that. Hey, Mathis, how are you? If she was flying a plane there or flying to the Air Force Base to check on a plane, she would have flown back in a few hours and would have made the dinner. The gross details from police sound suspicious. I agree. I agree. Ellie, I went over a couple articles with some updates on the Kelsey Berreth case. Yes, I will add the PDF link. Sure thing. Actually, if you go to the article that's already in the description box, at the very bottom, not the CNN article, I believe it's the other one, that will link you to the affidavit right there. But if you want to pull up the PDF with the actual link, I can put that in the description box. Let's see. Let me go ahead. I can just put it in the chat if it'll let me. Sometimes they're funny about certain links for some reason. Oh, it might actually be the CNN article. Where is it? What? Not there. Okay, so let me go back to the other article. It's not the CNN article. I've read a few articles this morning. So, I thought that was a lot. Huh. Okay. All right. Hold on 2 seconds. I have it saved, but it's going to be under something different on my computer. I'm going to find the link for you real quick. All right. Any of you all ever have trouble with Google not showing all of your history? All right. All right. I've still got Internet Explorer up. I'm gonna. Oh, goodness gracious. I'll find it. I'll have to find it and put it in the description box, guys. Maybe this is it. Hold on.
A 12-page document detailing why authorities arrested Kelsey Berreth's fiancé for her murder.
Okay, the article that's actually talking about the affidavit does not link to the affidavit. And as soon as I clicked on it, it opened up. Okay, so let's see if this is it. Idaho nurse claimed Update-Frazee fatally beat. Ooh. So hold on. This is totally different than what I was reading. Let me close this out. Check this out.
Gruesome details were shared inside a Teller County courtroom as people learned what might have happened to a missing mom from Woodland Park. For weeks, investigators have said that Kelsey Berreth was murdered, and they suspected her fiancé, Patrick Frazee, killed her. Today, a Colorado Bureau of Investigation agent described how, through the account of the other woman, Frazee was seen, and the judge ruled the evidence is enough for Frazee to stand trial.
9 News reporter Jordan Chavez has been processing some of the disturbing details that came out in court. Jordan?
Yeah, Kim and Kyle, about 7.5 hours of testimony today. For a while now, investigators have said Kelsey was murdered inside her Woodland Park home. And today, through tweet after tweet, we now have a vivid idea of exactly how Patrick Frazee is accused of killing her, thanks to his former girlfriend, Crystal Lee Kenny. A detailed picture of how Kelsey Berreth was murdered on Thanksgiving.
Okay. Do y'all want me to share my screen so that you can see this? It's just showing, let me put this in the put this in the chat here. It's not showing a whole lot, it's just showing text messages. All right, here. I'll go ahead and share my screen. It's interesting to say the least, because this article is different than anything that I've read on this case so far. This actually says that the nurse basically murdered her with Frazee. That, you know, the story has been that the nurse just helped clean it up.
Thanksgiving Day from the account of Crystal Lee Kenny played out on Twitter. Frazee's then-girlfriend says the actual murder happened after 3 attempts to kill Kelsey Berreth. The first time back in September when Crystal told investigators Frazee wanted her to poison Berreth's caramel macchiato. CBI agent.
All right, let's go back and look at that.
And Berreth's caramel macchiato. Poison Berreth's caramel macchiato.
All right. Jennifer Meckles, which is Crystal Lee Kenny's friend, CBI. Crystal said that Frazee wanted her to poison Berreth's favorite drink. Crystal told investigators Frazee showed her Berreth's picture, gave her the address where Berreth lived, and even suggested the narcotics to use to poison a drink. Wow. Okay, so Jennifer Meckles... Never mind. I thought that was one of her friends, which I think Jennifer Meckles is the one that interviewed her friend. So there's an interview out there that shows Crystal's friend actually talking to Number 9 News, an exclusive interview where she doesn't give a whole lot of details, but she said that whatever Crystal needed to do, it was right at the moment. Basically trying to cover up for her friend and saying she did what was right at that moment. Sorry, I don't think so. You know, you're involved way too much.
CBI agents say Crystal posed as one of Berreth's neighbors.
And this is the nurse, you guys. This is Crystal Lee Kenny.
Gave her the coffee, but didn't poison it. Investigators say Crystal was told twice more by Frazee to kill Berreth, once with a metal pipe, the other time with a bat, but Crystal backed out both times.
She sat and said, I can't do this.
She told agents it wasn't until Thanksgiving when she found out Berreth was dead. She says Frazee texted her telling her to come to Colorado, saying, "You've got a mess to clean up." She then described to investigators how she showed up at Berreth's home with gloves, a protective suit, booties, trash bags, and bleach.
And as Crystal describes, when she walks into Kelsey's condo, the scene is horrific. There's blood everywhere.
According to investigators, Crystal says Frazee described to her how he tricked Kelsey into wearing a blindfold under the guise she was supposed to smell candles, then beat her to death with a bat, while their 1-year-old daughter sat in another room. Crystal says Frazee put Berreth's body in a plastic tote and drove it to a barn in Fremont County.
So let me get this straight. He wrapped her head in a sweater and then told her to smell candles and then beat her with a bat. Okay. Kelsey's cell phone got to Idaho because the nurse, Crystal Lee Kenny, admitted to taking her phone to Idaho with her to basically borrow time to make it look like Kelsey was still alive and sending text messages. She took Kelsey's phone, texted her mom. She texted Kelsey's mom. She texted Frazee, and then she also texted Kelsey's work, letting them know that she would not be in for the next week. They were basically just borrowing time to make it look like Kelsey was still alive. And the nurse has admitted to having Kelsey's cell phone.
Set it inside a trough along with the bat and burned them. She told investigators Frazee later scooped up the remains and planned to either get rid of them in a dump or a river. Frazee will be back in court for his arraignment in April. Now, Crystal already took a plea deal for tampering with evidence and could face up to 18 months in prison for that.
Okay, so 18 months. I heard 3 years. Now, Colorado state laws, I'm not sure how they are. I know in Kentucky, whatever your sentence, you have to spend up to 20% of that sentence. So 3 years, 18 months, is that 20%? My math is so off. But I heard 3 years. So it must be sentence 3 years, spend up to 18 months. However, she is not in jail at the moment for some reason. I'm not sure why.
News legal expert Scott Robinson says sometimes prosecutors, well, they have to make a deal more attractive to someone they think is less culpable to get the person they feel is responsible. And that's exactly what we're seeing here, Kyle.
And people knew it was going to be difficult, what we heard today. I think that was beyond a lot of people's imaginations.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, something that's really being brought up again this time is why should we believe her this time when we know that she had trouble cooperating the first time around with investigators, Kyle?
Exactly. This woman, Crystal Kinney, has already lied to investigators how many times? She took the cell phone. She did admit to that. And now she's admitting that when 2 days later, after the fact, she went to go help clean up the apartment. Okay, so thanks, Doc. There's 2 PDFs. Awesome. She said that she found a tooth and then blood splatter everywhere. And it took her, I think, in a matter of weeks to clean it up. But the other article I said hours. So I'm not sure if she's the one that actually said it took her weeks to clean it up or hours. But, you know, if they waited 2 days to even clean it up, wouldn't they have been afraid that somebody would have showed up looking for Kelsey, like her mom, in the matter of time? I mean, that one article did say that her brother showed up at the apartment and saw blood. Okay, if your sister's not at home, A, how did you get into the apartment? And B, if you saw blood, you know, at this time, I think when he's seen the blood, maybe she wasn't missing yet. I'm not sure. None of this is making sense. Exactly. When did she take the cell phone to Idaho? The cell phone was pinged in Idaho just a couple days after Thanksgiving. Like maybe really close to Thanksgiving afterwards. Because they wanted to borrow time because she went missing on Thanksgiving, okay? So they wanted to borrow time to make it look like she was still alive and not missing. So that's why she texted her work. She texted Kelsey's work and said, I'm not going to be in for the next week. So I would say that would be like, say, Black Friday and then a week. Okay. So I'm going to copy these first and then go ahead and put these in the description real quick. All right. Okay, let me save that. Let me try to get these open. I'm sure it's going to open Internet Explorer, and I cannot promise that it'll even let me open it. I'm going to open that in a new window. And open this in a new window. Okay, I can try it. Can't promise, guys. I will do my best. I really need to learn how to use OBS. For reals. All right. No, I can't. It's not letting me open it. Let me try this. Nope. Sorry, guys. It's not letting me open it. Confirm that they are two different PDFs. All right, let me look. Okay. I have District Court, Teller County, State of Colorado, warrant number 18CR330, filed December 21st, 2018. And then let's see. I'm not pulling up. Okay, certificate. Okay, so the one is not pulling up. It says 12 pages. All right, hold on. Doc, those links are not working. Open link in new tab. Let me try it. Okay, application for, all right, so I've got that one already. So let me cancel that out. And then let me pull this one up. Untitled. So that second link, Doc, is not working. It just says untitled. It says youtube.com redirect for some reason. So the first link is a PDF. The second link, I have no idea what that is. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I've actually got to run to town. I've stayed a lot longer than I had planned on. I got to go try to get my tire fixed, or I'm going to have to get a whole new tire. So just cross your fingers. I can get a used tire for like $50. Much love to you guys in the chat. Nash, I see you. Kim Brown, good to see you. Thanks, Doc, for all the links. And hey, Doc, if you I've got those copied and pasted already in the description box, the links that you provided. So I will look at that here in a little bit. Much love, guys. If I didn't have to go so quick, I just had my husband. He's like, come on, we got to go. So I might go live later on, as I'm pretty sure there's going to be more to this later on in the day. And there's also some other things I wanted to talk to you all about. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for all the prayers. And I will talk to you all later. Much love, guys.